So I'd like to call our regular council meeting to order. We respectfully acknowledge that this meeting is being held on the traditional territory of the Kaga people, the Elakessa. May I have approval of the agenda as presented? Councillor Tidbury, Councillor Dorwood, all in favor? Carried. We have our minutes of the special council meeting held September 9th for adoption. Councillor Tidbury, Councillor Smith, all in favor? Carried. We have our minutes of the regular council meeting held September 9th for adoption. Councillor Tidbury, Councillor Dorwood, any errors or omissions? All in favor? Carried. We have Trish Baughman as a delegation, so come on up, Trish, and
Right there.
Oh, just
in the comfy chair.
The comfy chair.
sit in the comfy chair.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thanks for coming and talk about the Park Drive Ball Diamond.
Okay, so I do have extra,
We have a.
We have it in
I have more.
there.
So I guess this kind of started when Courtney from Public Works let me know that they were planning to do a little bit more work on the outfields last year, but then that didn't happen, so they were gonna do it this fall. And then just in kind of the events of the season and talking with some baseball people, we thought that we maybe could make a few additional upgrades sooner than later, and then have a little bit more of a long-term plan for getting that Park Drive field into some better shape. It was been pretty neglected for a number of years. So our main priorities would be to, and this is on the, it was in the email. This was kind of informal, that email, because it was sent to Courtney and Jason, so it was a little bit informal. But I don't know if there's something that can be done with the drainage of that outfield, because it's pretty swampy and unusable sometimes. And having it leveled, I don't know how many of you have been over there, but there's a big drop behind second base, and the whole outfield is actually quite unsafe in terms of the uneven ground. And then we would like to have some work done to the infield. So right now it's very, very hard. So it's not safe for sliding. It's not safe for field and ground balls, especially as the kids get older. I discovered that playing with my kids. I was like, whoops, so yeah, I see what you mean by the bad bounces. And rocks. And so if that could be dug up a little bit, and we would like to see it extended if that's not too much, because it's getting kind of small for the older kids. And ideally, we'd like to have that secondary diamond back in use, particularly for the younger kids, because right now we have very limited ability to use. We've had to kind of overlap our practice times. So those are kind of the main things. The backstop is a bit low for the bigger kids, and it's getting pretty rusty and not great shape. And I guess another kind of easy fix is I'm not sure who's in charge of emptying the porta potty, but nobody wants to use that. So yeah, it's kind of a deterrent, especially when you've got female coaches and players, and it's not as easy to just up in the bushes. That's on public record. Excellent. The other, I guess, kind of the connected issue is, well, there is the dirt bike issue, but there's also the, if we could have some kind of action or cooperation from council and the rec department to allow the youth baseball to use the fields at Stories Beach, because right now it's extremely difficult. It's basically Slow Pitch has it, and we've even booked the diamond and been messaged by Slow Pitch people to say, oh, we have an event, but they don't have it booked. And it's sort of the expectation is that nobody will use it except Slow Pitch. We have booked it for other events, but it's during the actual season of baseball. It seems to be not an option. And it's kind of sad that we have a pretty great complex down there that the youth are not able to access on a regular basis. So, they could use a little love too, those fields. I know that I was told that they were gonna be doing some work on the outfields this fall to level them and kind of fix them up, but yeah. So I put together kind of some statistics, I guess, of our registration numbers. We are kind of the best suited, in the best position in the Tri-Port area in terms of our number of diamonds and quality of them compared to Port Alice, Port McNeil. So being a leader in that regard would be awesome. And we do have some other things on our wish list, but we realize that that's not something that can happen right away, but we'd like to see a storage shed. One of the questions I asked was who built or is in control of the storage shed that's out at Stories Beach. I don't know if that's a district thing or if we were to have one at the Park Drive Diamond, would that be solely the responsibility of Tri-Port Minor Baseball, or would that be a joint project? That way we could store equipment, we could store L screens and, different things that we could store out there. And also just in terms of the official community plan, I know it's in draft form, but the upgrades that we're asking for, I think, fit some of those objectives particularly well, especially AD-62, maintain high standards for the quality and safety of all recreational facilities through a program of regular inspections, maintenance, and upgrades to ensure that facilities are safe, welcoming, and meet the needs of the community, as well as a tournament showcase. So we'd love to be able to host I've been in touch with Campbell River and Comox to have some teams come up here. Right now, I don't think we'd be very comfortable having them play on the Park Drive Diamond. I don't think it's actually safe for kids that are 12 and up in particular, which we have the potential to have a rep team in those age groups this coming season. So again, we could use Stories Beach potentially. So we'd like to have some kind of a meeting in that regard to figure out, I guess it would be like a users group. Because right now feels a little bit like the youth are not really given a fair shot for being able to use the higher quality fields in town. So that's my story, I guess. I'm happy to answer questions if you have any, or
Counselor Dolan?
Sure, she's done your homework and it's really nicely provided information. Is this kind of in the order of priorities?
I contemplated putting 7 up, that's number 3, but it would be nice to have sort of those first 2 for sure done sooner than later. And then if we could have some access to the fields at Stories Beach.
And so the fields at Stories Beach are the right size and everything, they're interchangeable?
Well, they would be. I mean, we'd have to measure the distance in terms of the fences for the different age groups. So
at least for the youth, they would be the right.
yeah, they would be okay. The only issue there is that the bases are permanent, like pretty much permanent there. So it's different distances apart for different age groups. So that's another kind of issue that we would have to work out because all of the age groups have. And that's another thing with the one up here is pounding in the bases is a little bit difficult. So just for kind of prepping for the games, it's hard. So.
And the drainage, when I was a kid, there was crabgrass growing there when there was 2 ball fields. So I still remember the crabgrass when I was a kid. So
Yeah.
there was ever proper drainage in it.
No.
Unfortunately.
Thanks. Counselor Texmo?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, so I coached ball last year, and kind of growing up on that field, playing baseball between all the fields. And there's no question that field is not really suitable for anything other than just teaching some, super young kids ball. They're just learning, because as soon as you start getting into, games and whatnot, Trish is right. The infield's rock hard. It's dangerous. The outfield's swampy. It's lumpy. There's no fence. The list goes on and on. And I would love to see that field get the work that it needs. And then regarding like the different types of baseball, like for example, like slow pitch bases, I think are like 60 feet apart, whereas actual hardball bases, I think around 90 feet apart. And then the pitching mound is also different as well. And then the different lengths and fences, like, field 1, 2, and 3 are all different, pretty well different lengths to the fences. So like field 3 would be pretty suitable for younger kids. There's no reason in my mind whatsoever that, and I'm going to take flack for this, but I don't care. There's no reason in my mind that slow pitch should ever take priority over minor baseball ever. And this is coming from someone who's played slow pitch and helps to organize tournaments and that, but there's no reason for it. And I think that, the youth should have priority, and it should be given full access to the fields. I'm not sure, I guess, where that denial is coming from, but I think it's something that needs to certainly be discussed and given our youth access to those fields. But in the meantime, I would love to see council come together and come up with some sort of plan to start working on that field in town, because it is a great location. It's easy, and then that does take a bit of that not burden, but takes some of that pressure off of slow pitch as well, so that they can kind of coexist together. And but still at the same time, you still being able to use those fields, because when I grew up, when I was younger, we played on all the fields around town and out at the beach as well. So I'm definitely a big advocate for this, and sitting down and having some meetings to try and figure out what we can do to kind of revamp the fields, and most importantly, make sure that the youth have access to those ball fields out at the beach.
Thanks, Brian. Councillor Robertson.
Yeah, thanks for bringing this up. It's, as we go into, budget discussions within the next month, it's probably a good time to bring it to our attention. So that, I know I've seen, out at the beach, I think it was in, third ball field, wasn't there a baseball camp?
Yeah, we've had a group from Nanaimo come up,
Yeah,
2 years in a row now, so they've done,
it looked well attended.
yeah, summer camp, and they've actually were part of the consulting process. They came and spent about an hour in our field, and we all got sunburns. And then we're also been running a fall ball program, the last 2 years, so we're just winding that up at the end of October. It's through the same association, yeah.
Well, thanks, and I know even from when my kids are here in the thirties now, we're playing on that field, drainage was an issue, so.
Yeah,
It's, but in terms of, I agree with Brian, in terms of the schedule, it is a community asset, the ball field, the part of community, and so I can only imagine, and the times that slow pitch happens and no, by definition, nobody practices, there's no slow pitch practices, that's, I think, against the rules. But, it strikes me that there's room to have that discussion.
yeah, and there haven't been formal discussions, it's just, I guess it's just sort of been the way that it's been,
Yeah.
and so we just would like to be open to
But
be able to share the facilities.
yeah, thank you for bringing it to our attention. Anyway, thanks.
Any other comments? Well, thanks, Trish. Thanks for bringing it to our attention and bringing it up. We don't make any decisions. And as we heard, we're going to budget process. But as well, the drainage has been an issue, and that's a really expensive process. We looked at doing some drainage remediation not too long ago, and for another usage, and it was just like it's challenge.
Yeah,
But we will be talking.
I'm happy to talk more.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay, but there is absolutely zero expectation.
Okay. We got kids to pick.
Business arising from the minutes, we have our council action item report for September 9th, information, any comments? Under new business, we have the district of Port Hardy climate action survey report 2025 for information.
That's a good with this film.
That would be Norma, our director of finance.
Thank you.
And
when I put the request out about what needs to be published or if it needs to then come into a council meeting, they do go that you can take out the optional, do not have them there and condense it a little bit, and that would have been a lot of work, so you get to see the whole happy case. Page 39 has kind of the funding part of it, so.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Under correspondence, we have from Ambrose Young, Registrar, Youth Parliament, BC Alumni Society, regarding British Columbia Youth Parliament and non-exempt parliament for information.
No kids in comments.
So, you've known kids are common, how did they find out about it?
That's through school.
It's still. From
Yeah, I mean, through school.
So I did talk to, the principal Walkus at the school about a youth that's reached out to me about getting involved in council. I'm wondering if we could have it sent to, the high school, and then she could share it because she said there's a leadership class there now. Maybe there'll be some interest from the leadership.
Does it have?
Yeah, I mean, that was like.
Moved by Councilor Sutton, seconded by Councilor Dorwin.
Is there also a high school at Westland Open?
No, that goes to grade 7.
Well, there's Eton, but it's
It's part of the school
part of the
district.
school actually.
Okay, so they would receive it there as well.
However, there's some grade 10s out at 7-Day Adventist School.
Maybe we could share it there as well. Eki Mickey and
Yeah.
Avalon.
I can amend.
All in favor? Any opposed? Eric? We have from Jay Simpson, President, CUPW, requested support for Canada Post. Any comments?
I read it and I was a little unsure how to respond to it.
And Councilor Texel?
Yeah, so it's just kind of reading through it and just not quite understanding exactly what's going on here. Forgive me.
You know, yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sort of with Brian on that one. I'm not completely sure I understand it or what's going on with the whole situation. The one thing that I am sure of is that we are quite supportive of our local post office and the people that work there. So, but I'm not 100% sure that's exactly what they're looking at here, so. Not quite sure how to proceed there.
And I'm not quite sure how to proceed there either, just because it's such a quagmire of what's going on with the postal services. And with their strike and now with their rotating strike. But as well with the postal service and being in such financial dire straits too.
I'm not gonna refer to staff, so.
We could just leave it. Move on,
Potentially.
and then we should turn that date. All right, we have from Janet Dorwood, Rotary Club of Fort Hardy, partially requested by myself, Mr. Fox.
Excuse myself.
Yes.
And yeah, I'll move that we.
Moved by Councilor Robertson, seconded by
I'll second that.
Councilor.
Is there somebody up there?
I can
Yes,
second
well,
it. Yeah, I'll second it.
Any comments or questions?
I just want to thank Janet and the Rotary Club and everyone involved for putting this event on again. It's great. It's a super good event for our community, and everybody really enjoys it.
I agree, and hopefully the weather will be good. Okay, all in favor? Carried.
Is that the next item as well?
No, we haven't done that. One more to go.
Okay, from Janet Burwood, Rotary Club of Fort Hardy, request for professional approval of the 2025 Christmas cheer float. Moved by Councillor Tidbury, seconded by Councillor Smith. Any comments?
Again, always well received.
Absolutely well received. The only thing is, the map wasn't included on the agenda. I meant to. She said they have a copy of the map, and I'm sure it's much the same as last year.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all in favor? Carried. Well, pumpkin patch person.
Yeah, I don't know what else comes up.
Carried. As was the floor. We have from Stacia Johnson, Principal, Eagle View Elementary School, regarding a lake grant and aid request of council. And that is to waive the $157.50 cleaning fee for the Anna Copper Room at the Civic Center for December 17th.
Motion to approve.
Moved by Council Deck, Dorwood, second by Council Robertson. Also, I grant an aid.
Yes.
All in favor? Carried. We have from Mark Rubenstein, Chief Executive Officer, Hope Air, regarding the municipal upgrade for information.
Sorry.
So Hope Air, I know has helped out many community members and from not only Fort Hardy, but surrounding area to get down for medical procedures and appointments. So it's really good that they're helping, and that's a bit of an update. I wonder about sending a letter of thanks.
I'd make that motion.
Tipper, seconded by Councillor Dorwood.
They're a fantastic group.
Yeah,
And the distance between these people and Angel Flight is that Hope Air picks you right up from the door of your house and drives you to the airport. And they drive you to the hospital on the other side. Where Angel Flight only just does from the airport to airport.
they're both amazing,
Both amazing.
both amazing.
Yeah.
All right, motion to, it's on the table, all in favor? Carried. Committee reports, we have the draft minute for the committee of the whole meeting held September 9th. Full information. We have the minute for the public hearing held September 16th for information. We have the draft minutes of the Fort Hardy Emergency Planning Committee meeting held September 29th for information. Any comments? We have the draft minutes of the Community Consultative Committee meeting held October 2nd for information, and as well a recommendation. You can see from the committee report. Councilor Dorwood, you have a rest there. Did you want to say anything?
Yes, I'll move this and then discuss it. So I'll make the motion as recommended.
Okay, by Councilor Tidbury.
Yeah, so the community consultation committee, we have actually, really sort of well balanced. With lots of good questions and input and, it was interesting. They actually thought about adopting the provincial regulation, which is only on principal residents. But they didn't, so I thought that was good because I think the way it is now is wouldn't want it to be any more contracted than that, so. Yeah, and they were comfortable with the bylaw as it sits.
And that's why we have that committee to, get more input into it other than just around our table. Do we have a motion on the floor?
Yeah, no, I was, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate the discussion. I also, want to acknowledge that during the public hearing, there were some points of views that came up that were well put forward and differed a little bit from this. I mean, this motion is essentially going with the status quo is what we've had in town for a while. And so I appreciate some of the comments at the public hearing about this. And I have to say, I struggle a little bit with this in terms of the restriction, but again, it's been in place for a while. So, but I do appreciate the comments from the public hearing.
And just to clarify, the public hearing wasn't about this, the original, was a proponent with multiple, Airbnbs. And so, whereas the public hearing was about clarification of the terminology and the example. So just to be clear that while a lot of things were brought up that were relevant, the public hearing was not about the question that was posed to the community, it's a public committee.
Yeah. Any other comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. We have the finance department, the check and EFT list and report for information. We have from Norma, Isaac, Director of Financial Services, we see that in all regarding the 2024 tax sale result information. Congratulations to you and your staff, 2 years in a row on that sale. That's amazing, and that's please pass on our thanks.
I will, thank you.
All right, we have from Heather Nelson Smith, our CEO, regarding development variance permit 01-2025 5795 Golitas Height or Glitz Way. CEO Nelson Smith.
Sure. Thank you very much, Mayor. Just to kind of highlight, the applicant has requested to change the current principal residence, which currently meets all principal residence requirements, to convert it to an accessory structure with a carriage home to allow for a new principal dwelling to be placed on the property, and this to be used as a carriage home and accessory building. Upon review, the height restriction of the said accessory structure, if it was switched to an accessory, would need a variance in order to allow that to happen, which is about 1.5 meters. And so staff have reviewed the area. We've also reviewed, we've sent notices to the adjacent property owners prior to the postal strike and advised them, and we haven't received any concerns or objections at this point in time. And given that the sightlines wouldn't be affected with anybody else, leaving it in its current form wouldn't constitute any kind of issue. It meets all of the other requirements in terms of setback. And so what staff would be looking for under the recommendation is that council approve the development variance permit to allow for the height of the accessory structure to be increased in order to allow for a new principal dwelling to go on the property, and that the chief administrative officer be authorized to execute the development variance permit upon the issuance of a building permit for the new principal dwelling, confirming that all requirements have been met to facilitate the conversion. And what that means is because the principal dwelling has to meet a minimum square footage size in order to allow for that accessory use, as long as all of that fits, then this would allow us to be able to allow that building permit to go forward.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
You've got Councilor Dorwood, second by Councilor Tidbury. Councilor Techno, you have some questions?
Yeah, I don't have any issues with this whatsoever. I just had a question through the chair to Heather, regarding this. If the existing place right now has the main incoming power for BC Hydro and the new residence is going to be sub-fed to that, no longer being the primary source of power, does that have anything to do with it? I'm only asking for my own kind of information on this one.
When it comes to electrical, I have no knowledge there to be able to tell you what would end up happening, but my understanding is very limited in that regard, so I won't even make comment.
Okay. Basically based off square footage anyways, what it seems like.
Yes.
Any other comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. We have from Heather Nelson Smith, the CAO, the UBCM 2025 highlights and information. Thank you very much. It was a great report. It certainly encapsulates just a short bit of all the different advocating we were doing and talking, but it was great. And
Just if, that some of the meetings were, quite productive and quite informative, and where we still receive some fairly good news, and, so the, meeting with the Minister of Health, was interesting and good with that, and, the Forest Ministry with respect to community forests. And what's potentially going to happen with community forests is, also quite interesting. So, yeah, thank you for this, and, there's some, I think, encouraging news coming from those meetings as well.
I just want to add that I feel like our town is really well received at the ministerial and staff meetings, and I think part of it is our staff is so well organized. They organize us and have the folder with summarizing everything that we wanted to say and pass on, and I think and they remember year over year, and I think, yeah, so thank you. Like, it really makes an impact doing those packages, and that's fascinating.
I agree.
We'll keep doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Texmo?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Heather and staff for putting together this information for especially me not being able to go over everything that you guys were doing. I think it's excellent and well received. Thanks.
Councilor Tidbury?
Yes, this year I really got some really good vibes from the meetings that we had down there. Like I mentioned, as we left the hydro, the information, it seems like they were listening more to us this year than in past years. I point out, remember we mentioned about the 2-tier and about the other option. Well, I'm on the other option right now. So I'm hoping that it's gonna work out. So cheap time and things like that. Again, I was encouraged with the parks and the environment there on some of the ideas that we left with them about from here to Cape Scott and things like that. That was most encouraging. The forestry, another case of encouragement. So I believe they are listening to us, and I think they got a little fed up to see me because I was also representing the regional district there, and they heard from me a couple of times. So, and you can see the picture on the front. I might add that I was right behind the speakers there, so you could see my expression if I didn't like the information that was given out. Other than that, I thoroughly enjoyed this year, and like I say, I thought we were getting better results. It'll only come to be whether that transpires that way.
Thank you, Councilor Tipper. So
Long walk, so.
I think we all came back with good vibes, but we also were understanding that there's definite financial pressure on the provincial government, so we'll see how those good vibes come out in the months ahead. Hopefully with better news.
Yeah, and as we said, we will continue to be discussing
Yeah.
issues with.
Right, from our CAO, Henry Nelson Smith, the zoning amendment bylaw 1105-2025 and waiving a public hearing for information. We have a staff report. Would you like to speak to that?
Just very quickly, we've had an application, currently the, property, the extra large property at the end of, I believe that's Carnarvon Place, is zoned currently rural residential half, and then when you get to the road, the other half is general holdings. The applicant has asked for all of it to be converted to rural residential for future, development purposes. Under 467 of the Local Government Act, it allows us to waive a public hearing as long as it's consistent with the OCP, but also Bill 41 says that we can't have a public hearing anyway if it's for the residential, if it's for residential purposes. So this is just a notice to council that this is happening. We are publishing a notice in the newspaper, just even though it's consistent and also isn't allowed to happen, we still have to publish a notice. And therefore it is going in the paper this week. So it'll be on the next council agenda, but if anybody has any questions.
Okay, thank you. And we all know we need more residential.
Yeah.
Properties, so. All right, under current bylaws and resolutions, we have bylaw number 1181-2025 zoning bylaw amendment, short-term vacation rentals for second and third reading. That's good. Moved by Council Dorwood, second by Council Tidbury. Anyone have any questions or want to talk to it? It's just cleaning up some of the language in the vacation rentals bylaw. All in favor? Carried. We have bylaw number 1182-2025 zoning bylaw amendment for shipping containers for second and third reading.
It's first and second reading. Oh, no, sorry, I'm skipping one down.
Awesome. So moved by Councilor Dormouse, second by Councilor Pittsbury. All in favor? We have bylaw number 1183-2025 district for party official community plan for first and second reading. Moved by Councilor Pittsbury, seconded by Councilor Taxmo. So under this, we have an engagement where we had a fair number of people show up for it and talk about it. And so there's what we heard report, and then we have our draft OCP bylaw. All in favor?
What is the date for the public hearing on that one?
Next Thursday
There's,
That's the
23rd.
Right,
at 6
Thank you.
o'clock.
here.
Yes.
We have bylaw number 1184-2025, prevention tax exemption bylaw for first, second, and third reading. So much, moved by Councilor Darrell, second by Councilor Robertson. So as you can see by the list of organizations, they are all either societies or religious or nature trusts.
And the only new one this year is Loaves and Fishes Community Food Bank Society for the Harvest Food Bank location.
Which is great. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. We have our pending bylaw number 1185-2025 zoning amendment bylaw. And now we have. Councilor Robertson.
Thank you, and my apologies in advance. Yeah, might go a little longer. Just initially, a couple of things. I was gonna talk about UCM, but we've already done that. I would talk, I'm currently talking to somebody who's involved with the kelp harvest. And they're currently, harvesting, some sites that they had previously already harvested this year. So there's a go back. And it's just, quite a remarkable industry. And my only comment about it was, and we've talked about it before, it was that if there's anything that our community can do to support that industry. And I know we have looked into it. I would love to be able to do that. Up to and including, you know, they ship the kelp, process kelp out. Is there any secondary industry that could be located here? Anyway, that was just, it's quite a remarkable industry. But mostly what I had to say today was I was going to bring council a notice of motion. And lately out in the neighborhood that I live in, there's been a lot of discussion about road safety. So this is the notice of motion, and notice of motion is a courtesy motion, but I will be bringing this motion to a future council meeting, or potentially also a committee of the whole meeting, made to be talked into one or the other. But the motion is that staff be requested to initiate the process to reduce the speed limit on the portion of Beaver Harbor Road north of Fort Rupert Elementary to 40 kilometers per hour. This is inclusive of Carlton, Chatham, and Scotia. And full disclosure here, I also live in Scotia. So, and just briefly with it, it is a unique stretch of road in the district. It's all residential, primarily residential. And when you compare it to other Park Drive or Bing Road, the Airport Road, or Hardy Bay Road, they're not quite, they're thoroughfares, not quite as residential, but there are residences on them, and they all have sidewalks. You could also say Elk Drive, where there are no sidewalks, but Elk Drive has natural climbing with the parking. So that's one of there has been some discussion on Facebook, and I believe there's a petition being prepared to come to council. It has come up before, and it was addressed at one point, at different times. It came up at ops committees. There were some attempts to do something. There was a traffic sign put up, flash a light sign, a speed indicating sign for that event, and there was a narrowing that didn't work that well. It was not necessarily a good idea. Anyway, it's an issue that's coming to us, and so that's why there's a notice of motion there. The other issue that I wanted to also bring up about it was not so much related to the speed, but also that when we dealt with the issue before, we dealt with it at a separate, discrete operations committee meeting. And just the nature of those meetings has changed somewhat. And so without going down too much, I mean, we have dealt with various discrete meetings. There was, and brought issues forward. I'm thinking of the dog park from those early discussions and ops meeting. Barrier-free recreation came from discussions from some of those meetings as well. And they're just, those discrete meetings were good opportunities for discussion. Not that we don't have them maybe the whole and brainstorming. It can be a real forum for new ideas and people who come with new ideas. So I will be bringing the motion forward at a future meeting soon. And that was just my way of letting council know there would be notice of motion. for that area. Oh, the other thing I want to say, and I understand that there's also discussion about reducing the speed in all of the residential areas. And I know other communities are doing that. And my comment is that this could be a fairly good experiment. I'm doing that. It's a fairly discreet neighborhood. And it may show things that we might not have think. So, and that's that, I obviously mentioned that.
Thank you. Counselor Tidber?
Few things I've done. We had our final get together of the Filmy Days Committee. So we're on to bigger and better things next year. I did the open public house at the OPC. I had the table of partners, which seems to be not getting off the ground as much as I would like it to be. But there's always hope there. Then had the emergency planning event here, and it was nice to see that BHP was also getting involved in the safety angles too, and in emergencies, and they're very keen to be part of that committee. Talked about a few parades that's happening in the near future. I also had my tourist meeting, and one of the things we talked about was the MRDP and how that was being distributed for the upcoming year. And we'll be making more finer points to that tomorrow at the regional district meeting. Pardon?
The regional district, that's another meeting tomorrow.
No, we have a meeting.
Oh,
I have a different hat on, remember? Sorry. This, like I say, I was impressed with our UBSM this year. It was, I came away very positive as I left there. Long hours, as everybody knows. And it was very, very enjoyable. And that's about it, I think. I'll think of something as soon as I let go. That'll be it for now.
thank you. Counselor Smith?
Thank you, Mayor. Could you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. September 14th, attended the Port Hardy, help out with the Port Hardy Farmers Market as their market manager. Beautiful weather for that weekend. September 20th, attended the VRL, Vancouver Island Regional Library Board meeting. They went over financials, and the reserved funds are now fully backed and looking good. Coming up, we're going to have VRL for 2026, a budget levy increase of 4.6%, but it's going to be less for our area because they base it on 50% population, 50% assessed values. So we actually are going to be minus 1.21% for a total of 223,913, which is nice. We're in the negative. Not so great because we're losing population, but September 24th, attended as Deputy Mayor Bobby King's service. Very emotional, absolutely incredible to see his family and our district family, and just beautiful seeing how much of an impact that he had. And yeah, I was very emotional that day. We lost a good one. That evening, September 24th, had the Port Hardy Heritage Society meeting. They've completed a couple of grants and they're looking at doing a bigger one, looking at doing a feasibility study for a museum expansion. So stay tuned for that. And then a couple of days later, September 26th, I was tested positive for COVID. So I missed the last market of the season. I missed the Truth and Reconciliation March. So I'm wearing orange today. I missed the Fulami Days wrap-up meeting and I missed the fire open house. So there was a lot going on that I was recovering at home. And then this weekend we had a Friendsgiving at home, which was really nice because all my family wasn't able to come up. So yeah, that's my report. Thank you, Mayor. Oh, and if I could provide maybe after the meeting, just feedback regarding the new audio and video.
Thank you. Counselor Texmo.
Thank you, Mayor. I was out of town for Truth and Reconciliation Day in Vancouver, but I did take part and brought my family downtown Vancouver and took part in the events there. It was kind of cool to see how other people do it, and I ended up going to Science World, which is a pretty cool place to check out with the kid. I haven't been into too many things as I've been coaching now 2 hockey teams this year, so it's been a bit busy. I'm pretty excited to see that the district is taking down all the alder trees beside the skate park. I think that's amazing and is going to lead to a lot less maintenance and headaches in the future, as well as possibilities for maybe future lighting upgrades. Also wanted to say thank you to mayor, council, staff, everyone that took part in UBCM, going down there and advocating for our town for much needed issues, especially our healthcare 24/7 emergency closures, various other issues. The other thing I wanted to chat about was just that our community's been through a bit of a rough patch in the last little while with losing some members with Bobby, and then a young member of our hockey community, Malachi, and that they are the family is putting out like a petition to advocate for EpiPens to be at various locations, restaurants, arenas, all kinds of establishments. So something for people to look at and read, as so many things can be preventable. Other than that, that's pretty much it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Texmo. Counselor Doyle.
So yeah, I just want to fill in on UBCM, just one of the highlights for me is the resource breakfast. So 3 in the mornings, there's breakfast hosted with a panel. One of them is mining, one's energy, and one's forestry. And they've all got their challenges, but the very economy-driven provincial and federal government, I look forward to some big action there, which will help fill the coffers for our big provincial expenses of healthcare and education, among all the other things. So that's good. Yeah, I look forward to the fruits of that, especially hearing how little discretionary spending there is. Like it's pretty tight for any extras this year. So it can be tough for the next couple of years, I think, until all that stuff starts rolling. I organized the Terry Fox Run for Port Hardy on September 14th. We had 43 participants and raised $1,760. And then when I was at UBCM, I managed to go for a run past the Terry Fox statue. So that was cool to see that a couple of weeks later. I actually haven't seen it before. I think it's been up for a while. And then the public hearing and community consultative meetings are the notes are all there. I did just want to circle back to Councillor Robertson's comments about the ops meetings, which were the operations meetings. We're all open meetings, just in case anybody thinks your terminology of the street. I think you just mean it was a smaller group.
Yes.
But they were open to that public.
Yes.
Yeah, just to be clear, they're definitely open meetings. That was it for me.
Okay. So I've attended many meetings with the Malice Supportive Housing Society and the Consultants Wiser. As well, CAO and I attended a meeting with the Connective Society, talking about the 3 apartment buildings that they manage and own, and looking forward to the future. Attended both comfort services with, and as well, Counselor Dugas was at the comfort services for Bobby King. Unfortunately, we were out of town for his service, and thank you, Counselor Counselor Smith for, speaking on behalf of the district at his service. But as well, that morning, I was asked to speak on CBC about Bobby and what he meant to the community, and I've shared that interview with the family, and they're very appreciative of it as well. Attended public hearing for the OCP. Attended the last couple of farmers market, the last one on the last day. Unfortunately, our market manager is off at school, and our temporary market manager was sick. So I helped fill in with Leslie Dick, and oh my goodness, it was wet.
Sure.
It was so wet, but there was still, we thought maybe people would cancel and there wouldn't be any vendors, but vendors showed up, and so did customers and people. So it was good to be down there, and we were under tents, so it's fine, but it was very wet, very chilly. We were all chilled. Attended the Truth and Reconciliation March and the walk, and then because they were unsure of what the weather was going to be like, it was indoors at Sacred War Friendship Center. And I think next year they will be looking for a bigger venue because people couldn't hear the speeches. But I wanted to say a big shout out to Councillor Tidford, because they sort of stood him up as someone always been there to help out. And I thought that was pretty nice to be recognized. So thank you. Attended the fire department open house and recruitment drive, and I know that they were hoping to get a couple of new recruits at that, at the open house. It probably was not as well attended as they would hope because the weather was so nice. And, but still, there was a fair number of people there. At the district, I've attended the Indigenous Pacific Anti-Racism Training with a number of other counselors, and that's the third one, and we've got one more to go at the end of the month. Attended Calvin and Marie Hunt's feast on the weekend with CAO, and it was nice to be invited to it, but also to be a witness to the ceremony. And then the next day was Chief sorry. Knox, thank you. Chief Knox, potlatch, and I wasn't able to go to it. It was way too smoky, on Saturday.
I watched it on the video.
Yeah, but I watched it on the live stream, and it was pretty special. And then on Sunday, I sent off a young man that has a debilitating arthritis, who is going to be leaving Port Hardy, going to Victoria, doing 12 marathons in 12 days. And he's got his fingers crossed that he'll do it. It was very kind of last minute, his decision to do it. And he's hoping to do it every year and raise awareness for arthritis and for the arthritis of Canada, and raise some funds. And so that's it for me. We have information of announcements, all the different things coming up. And the spring ride, October 24th, is the end of our weekly curbside garbage, and I'll go back to every other week. And October 26th, so the volunteer appreciation breakfast. So if you're a volunteer, go on to Eventbrite and get a ticket and bring one guest with them. We have no notice of in-camera meeting. Motion to adjourn. That's the doorway. The license pertaining to the agenda. Do we have anyone online?
Yes. Oh, I have
We have
roughly
people
nothing.
on, but anyone that has questions.
Not yet.
Yeah. Anyone in the audience?
She left. There's one.
She is Randall.
Just a quick one. What is Nature Trust of BC?
That's the one, it, has the, if you go on the trail out past, Rock Pro along there and you go to the bird sanctuary at the end, that's run by Nature's Trust.
Basically the estuary.
Yeah,
Okay.
Conservancy area,
yeah.
or a nature conservancy area. So it's can only be used for the rest of its, I believe it's can only used for the rest of its life as a nature reserve, so no construction and stuff.
Good.
Pertaining to the presentation night, the Park Drive baseball diamond. In 2023, Heather, you had, it was temporarily the dog park and then it moved up to the upper mall and there was a drainage issue then. And it's still, I drove there tonight. And, the grass is brown, so you can see where the drainage problem is on the outfield. And, the outhouse has kind of deteriorated the top and your backdrop. It needs to be fixed to the top. And when I was sitting there in the truck, here's this motorbike coming across the infield. And he's not a kid, it's an adult riding this bike. And looking with all the alder, you're in, you're chopping down alder, that should be cream back there, that alder, there's too much of it. And there's always a concern with the wolves and cougars, the red gate coming behind there, there should be a fence on that outfield for the kids. All the way in the back there. So that it stops that motorbike coming across. And the drainage issue, that's been 3 years now and it's still not fixed. And there's people you can get to address that, to make it work for these kids in this community. And the dog park up there, I drove up there and looked at that, it's the same stuff up there too. And it's been going on for a few years. So why isn't this stuff getting fixed? We get money from the government to do infrastructure and invest in this community. And you want families to move here and buy housing in our community and family attract them to the town here to live. If you don't have these things in place, they're not gonna live here and buy in this community. They're gonna move on to Port McNeil where it's all happening. Sorry, but it's been a few years now.
Tammy, do you have a question?
Yeah, I do. And why isn't it getting fixed?
Thank you.
Okay,
So
it's been a few years now. It needs to be done. Okay? And it keeps getting, the same stuff keeps coming up.
okay, thanks. Other questions?
When you were at the UBCM and regarding the healthcare emergency services, it has a lot of things that just kind of sound like they're gonna be working on committed to working towards it. Sounds kind of like the same blah, blah, blah you get from Island Health. Did you get any kind of feedback that made you think that they were actually gonna do anything, or is it just the same lip service and then go away till next year and maybe it'll be fixed or maybe it won't?
It's the same in every community. So we're trying as best we can. Whether it's gonna be fixed this year, I don't know.
Yeah, we do tons of advocacy, but we don't make the decision.
Right, I just was wondering if you got any feeling that they had anything new or actually really anything.
Well, they continue to discuss and acknowledge as well that there is the potential of extending the hours as well.
Yeah, I did see that and I'm glad that you brought that up and they just were gonna look into that.
We're gonna look into it more and I have a meeting, in a couple of weeks with with the president of Island Health as well as the deputy minister. Just based on some of the things that we brought up at the meeting. And, what they did tell me is that they have lots of doctors right now. They have plenty of doctors. They are short, emergency room nurses and they're short lab techs and they're short, x-ray techs. So until we can get enough employees to come up here. The doctors do not want to open it if it's not safe and if it's not consistent.
And what I got, from the meetings and also just the general conversation down there. That we're all in the same boat and we're all trying to find solutions. There is some sort of keen ideas out there, but, whether they'll come to,
Right, I know that Colwood did.
yeah, and that's one I like too. I thought that was a
What they
good,
needed and they said, screw
So,
that, no,
Col-
we can.
yeah.
I know it's totally different, but they
Yeah.
did take matters in their hands, just like, we have something different that we need, but
Yeah,
I don't know, something.
and then they weren't the only community that was also talking with ideas and stuff like that. So we're all trying to find a solution and it doesn't, it's not working so well.
And another quick question about the, the sustaining the aquaculture, blue economy and all that. I heard from the first time we moved here that we couldn't ever buy seafood straight from the dock and that restaurants here aren't getting it locally and it's all because we don't have a CFIA inspector. Everything has to go, every single group of things being sold has to be inspected, like every.
We found a few other different, we found some different information when we were down there talking to one of the agricultural people that we will be looking further into it. So some of it, like the oysters and other food have to definitely be inspected by federal CFA. Yeah. But there's others where some of the seafood can be sold off the boat and those boats need to get special licensing. So whether they have that licensing or like there's a fishing family in Fort McNeil that have that licensing, but they sell in Fort McNeil.
Okay,
And that's selling off, it's not selling in the town.
It's not,
selling
but
off the
they
dock.
sell it off the dock, but then they can sell it to the restaurants and things like that too.
that's it. And there's just one thing I just wanted to mention, that could change, you voted to pass the minutes for the public hearing that was September 16th, and you have it present as Mayor Dennis Dugas and Councillor Pat Corbett.
Oh.
I saw that you got down right out. Thank you. I always look at that, like, that's not right.
Good eye, good eye. Thank you.
That's on page 55 of 173.
Usually Eagle Eye don't always catch themselves in.
That's all I got. Thank you.
I do have one more comment or question about the Evergreen building that's stripped right down and now there's talk, it might be rumors or whatever, but that's gonna be left like that for the winter. Plus, they have a container there and they have the street blocked off and the container's not on their property.
Actually, the container is on their property. That street is part of their property. Doesn't have anything to do with the agenda, but, that container is on their property. Other properties have encroached into their property line as well. So there's different things happening, but, that street is part of their property too, that they found.
Just to be clear, there are no streets as part of any of that property. So the accesses all come off of either Granville or the end of Shipley. There is absolutely no road that actually runs through those properties. So they're just driveway accesses.
Okay, because there is a stop sign there, so I.
Oh,
Yeah, just to stop
Assumed
you
it
for,
was-
so that you don't drive right into the street, but yeah, it's not a street. Yeah, it's the same with Thunderbird Mall. It's not a road, but it has a stop sign, so you don't hurt anybody.
Right, right. Well,
I don't know what's going on.
No idea.
yeah, I hope we don't have that ugly eyesore now.
Well, it's better than it was.
Is it?
Beauty being in the eye of the beholder.
Progress.
Any questions over there?
Your OCP, draft plan, August 2025, after we had the open house. Is that in here tonight? Cause it doesn't seem to be in here. Yeah, well, August 25th, 2025 draft plan for the OCP.
Yeah, it's in there.
Is it in here?
Yeah,
Okay,
along with the what we heard report.
yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cause when you go look it up, it says August 2025 draft plan. There's two draft plans on your online there.
Oh, if you look at where the public hearing is, it's the most current draft plan.
Okay, so that's gonna be August 2025. It's gonna be for the open house, the public hearing next week.
It's part of the advertisement for the public hearing.
Yeah,
So there might be an old one that's stuck on the static.
yeah,
on-
there's two separate ones. Can you go online there?
That's
You
right.
have?
Yeah, if you go to the front page of the website where it says when the public hearing is being held, that has the current plan, which is also in that agenda.
In here?
Yes.
Okay. I just have a concern, family member, if we have emergency, we gotta get out of here. Your hospital's not open after 5. We know this is an old issue. But how can we have a official community plan here when our hospital's not open after 5? Like, how can you
You
do
know,
that, right?
to be blunt, that comes under a different ministry. It's not actually part of our mandate to have a hospital. What our role is to advocate for our hospital and to try and get it 24/7. But it's not part of our official community plan. Our official community plan has to do with housing and has to do with roads and infrastructure.
Yeah.
So we all feel the concern for getting our hospital back open 24/7. There's no issue. We want it back open 24/7. That has nothing to do with our official community plan and what we're mandated to do as a district.
Okay, cause I'm looking at it.
No, I
Living
understand
here,
what you're saying,
You
but
know,
it
this
has
stuff's gotta
nothing.
happen to be here, right? That's what
We have a triage hospital in Fort Hardy that's open until 5 o'clock. And then we have a triage hospital that's open in Fort McNeil. Then we have another hospital that people can get sent to in Campbell River. But if you were in a traumatic injury, you would be medevac to Victoria or to Vancouver.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be staying in Fort Hardy, you wouldn't be staying in Fort McNeil.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
You're
unfortunate,
mentioning
but
here.
we're a small community. We have to do what we can do with what we've got.
Yeah, well, they're taking a stand in Port Coquitlam with that school that's 2 years waiting.
Yeah,
The
the
parents are
mayor's
taking a
written
stand
5
and they-
letters and, it's
Yeah.
still a empty lot.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Councillor Smith had comments.
Oh, yes, it's a comment.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I love the video. It's amazing. It's so cool to see all of the staff, but the sound, I don't know if Councillor Texmo would agree with me, but sometimes it sounds like it's underwater and it's so hard to hear that I wish it came with whatever the captions. It sounds like, oh my God, what did they say? So I don't know if it's because 2 microphones are competing, but sometimes it's very clear and then sometimes it's hard to understand words.
Brian, did you have the same issue on your end?
Not too much. I have my volume pretty well jacked on my laptop, but every once in a while there, you might see me going like this because I'm trying to hear a bit more, but for the most part, it was pretty good for me.
Okay,
be just
we'll
me.
see if we can troubleshoot that. We'll see if we can troubleshoot it. It could also be too that there was a lot of, because we're clicking as well over here, and we've got the microphone really close, and then there was chatter happening here as well, that might have also taken away from that, so it might have been, that competition, right? That if
Competing,
while
yeah.
people was talking, we've got people in the gallery really close to the
I
microphone.
wonder
Paper
if we had it on a stick in the center here.
Yeah, it might be better that way, and then it won't look at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll stick it right in front of Jason and then keep, see how his hair is that day.
No, I like the video.
I don't want a camera in front of me. Come on, guys.
Darn.
But this one doesn't fit into it.
Okay, I'll be okay.
You want to change.
Oh, mouse.
Okay, yeah.
All right,
See y'all
good night,
later.
everyone.
Pretty stressful. Like I said, it was.
So what time is the next week, the public